Hey everybody, welcome back to BPJ Game Station where we game to please. As sort of suggested in the previous videos, I am going to be running a True Patriot build. You might say, BPJ, is this your favorite build so far? No, absolutely not. I don't think that the damage numbers are there. I don't think that the survivability is there, but as far as favorites, I'd have to go with my ongoing directive build and also the striker set build. So if you haven't checked out them videos, check those out as well. But we are going to be running Federal Emergency Bunker today, and we're going to be doing that on Heroic. And let's go ahead and get into it. I'm not going to run the whole mission because we've already seen that how many times now. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. NSYNC is going to be... well, where's the enemies at?
Agent requesting backup.
All right, let's try that again.
Need to find out what happened to the team that went to try to repair.
So anyway, we got NSYNC. So we are going to be using the striker drone to get that benefit. So as you can see, we're doing about 333k there. You pick up a name tag, start doing about 400k, keep picking up name tags, and that's where our damage numbers are coming in. Like 500, 480. So just keep it going. 575. So we're getting good damage with this. There's not really a lot bad with this set, just per se. Some survivability issues. Get shot in the back with a shotgun, I mean, you're going to go down pretty quick. You don't have any second chances. You got 488k there. So I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, you can get through this heroic junk. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the second part, but yeah, you can get through this heroic stuff with this build. You get a lot of extra ammo. You get, what is it, 65k bullet, 68k or 68 rounds in your SMG. So not a bad build. Let's go ahead and skip to that next part, and I'll show you how to take on, or how it goes up against a bigger enemy. Guys, here we are back at the second part. Let me remind you to hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help the channel, and the channel's growing really well right now, and shit, before you know it, I might be making money off this. But not now. So help me out, guys, and please hit that subscribe button. But go ahead and pull out the NSYNC, get that stuff going. And so we're getting that buff. Yeah, I'm glad you blew up. So go ahead and pick up some of these name tags, because we want to get that, also that extra buff from the talent. So you can see we're taking off about 465 there. See how it goes against this guy. Really helpful that he's distracted, but we're taking off about, I guess, 346 or so there. So it takes a little bit longer. You don't want them dudes to blow up in your face, but the only ones that I've really had some problems with is when you get right in front of a light machine gun guy and he takes your shield off so fast. That's really where this kind of suffers, but besides that, I mean, it can pretty much take on what you needed to take on. But we don't have any second chances. That's why when shit like that happens, you know, that's a problem, and then you got to start all the way back over. If I wouldn't have had to try to stand toe to toe with that guy, though, we would have had it pretty easily. Now, I'm not going to run through this again. I ran this level completely with this build, so it does, you know, take care of business. But I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead, and we will go over the build. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and start with the specialization. What I usually use is the firewall. Don't use this top attribute, which is extracellular matrix. It's kind of worthless if you ask me, but the only other thing that we really depend on is these 3 shields, which gives us that extra damage, extra shield health, etc. So that's what we're using this build for. Of course, you got your spray and pray maxed out to get that 15% extra increased submachine gun damage. And then also on armor break, apply burn to enemies within 5 meters. That in some instances that comes in handy, so that's another good thing to have with this specialization. And then let's go ahead and jump right into the build. I'm at shade 818 at this point. The machine gun, if you've watched any of my videos before, I've used this one before, and it's because, you know, it dropped with all the attributes maxed out. This dropped in countdown when I was trying to get SMGs, so I have got expertise up to plus 7%. I think the total damage for this one is about 103 without that weapon damage, so RPM 825, and then the mag in this set's going to give it 67, so works pretty well. Like I said, you can use any submachine gun, but I would suggest you have these core attributes with a pretty high damage output, at least 100 and something output, which I think some of them come in like 109, 110 or whatnot. So this MP5N, I picked this up recently and it's got 109, and I don't have any expertise on it, but it's not maxed out. And then the secondary attribute is not damage to targets out of cover, so I would have to change that over, but I need NSYNC as the talent, so you know that just makes it impossible to use that for this build. So that's what I'm using, talent NSYNC, which hitting an enemy grants plus 15% skill damage, and then vice versa. And then if you get both of them going at the same time, you get damage increase doubled, which is 30%. So makes it extremely strong. Secondary, I just got Sweet Dreams there, trying to build up proficiency. I don't really ever switch to the secondary, and then the same thing with the handgun, just building proficiency with that. So those two are not important. Now we get down to the gear pieces. We got the True Patriot mask, gloves, holster, and then the knee pads. So that's the 4 pieces we're using. The thing that I don't like about this build is you don't have a lot of ways to get that health back, which I had to dip down into my armor to get some more weapon damage. And then another thing is when I was farming with this, for this, I couldn't really get any secondary attributes to roll red. So to get that damage output, all the True Patriot armor pretty much rolls with armor core. So you want to try to get these rolled with the 170k armor on it, which that one's not. But let's see, I changed that one. But the knee pads, as you can see, I got that to, you know, just drop with the 170k armor, and then I had to put critical hit damage on it. But I couldn't get any critical hit damage on this. It's got 4,000 armor regen, which is just something that I had to go with because it was the best thing I could get it to roll with. And then I put the 15% weapon damage on that, and then of course I got a gear piece inserted, which gives me 12% critical hit damage. You're going to need your critical hit damage and your critical hit chance wherever you can get it, because like I said, 2 pieces of this is not going to have weapon damage on it. So, and it's not going to have critical hit chance or critical hit damage. So that takes away from your total in both areas. Let's go ahead and go over this. The 2 pieces gives you 30% armor capacity, ammo capacity, and then 3 pieces gives you a 30% magazine size. The 4 piece, kind of hard to understand, but in a nutshell, this is kind of like Memento, but not as potent. So you're getting all the same things, but you're not getting them in large enough doses as far as I'm concerned. But let's go ahead and read through this. Red, white, and blue every 2 seconds. Enemies you shoot receive a stacking debuff of red, white, and blue. Red amplifies the enemy's damage taken by 8%. White, shooting the enemy repairs the attacking agent's armor by 2% once every second. And then blue decreases the enemy's damage dealt by 8%. And then if you get a full flag, enemies that die while under the effect of all 3 debuffs create a 5 meter explosion, dealing damage equal to their total health and armor. Explosion damage reduced on named enemy deaths. So I re-rolled I put weapon damage on that, and then that pretty much sums up the everything for the mask. And then we'll go to the backpack. Memento. You're going to need that extra armor. You're going to need that extra damage. So I really do suggest this backpack for this build. It's got 15% weapon damage optimized, 170k armor optimized, and then plus 1 skill tier. And then I got that gear piece stuck in there for 12% critical hit damage. I know that you might not have any of these, but I'm sure you have like 11%, 11.5, 10.5. I mean, you're only going to be losing a couple percentage points, so it's not going to make that big of a difference. And then, of course, the kill confirmed talent. You run around picking up the talents. It gives you extra weapon damage, extra bonus armor, and extra skill efficiency. And then for every trophy collected, gain an additional plus 1% weapon damage, plus 1% skill efficiency, and plus 0.1% armor regeneration for 300 seconds. Maximum 30 stacks. So for this build, since we're using the drone, that's going to help out the skill efficiency, and then of course your plus 10% bonus armor and plus 5% weapon damages never hurts anything. So that's good. I do have a True Patriot backpack, which I'm not using, but it did come with a critical hit damage on it and just drop like that. So I am assuming that these other gear pieces can drop with the reds on them, but I farmed for as long as I could bear, and I just went ahead and decided to make the build. So we're going to go ahead and check out the chest piece, and we are using Cheska, which gives that plus 10% critical hit damage. I got 15% weapon damage on that optimized, 8% weapon handling, which I would rather that be critical hit damage, but this is kind of how it fell. And then the critical hit chance, which is optimized as well. And then I got that gear piece stuck in there for 12% critical hit damage. And then finally I put the talent Intimidate. While you have bonus armor, gain 1 stack each second up to a max of 7. Each stack increases weapon damage by 5% to enemies within 10 meters. So try to keep your stacks up, and then you should have about 35% extra weapon damage at all times. If you do lose those stacks, though, then that goes away. So just try to keep that up. And then we got our gloves, which is True Patriot. I don't have the armor maxed out on that. And then I recalibrated for 12% critical hit damage. And then your holster, let's see. I recalibrated 15% weapon damage, and then the plus 3k or almost 4k armor regen. Also unintended, but that's how it drops, so that's what I had to use. And then finally we got the knee piece, which gives you 170k armor, and then I recalibrated plus 12% critical hit damage. So that pretty much sums up the build as far as the armor pieces and guns are concerned. We'll go ahead and look at the sheet here. We got in sync. None of this other stuff matters. And then, so the armor base damage is 103k. Critical hit chance is at 52%, and then critical hit damage is at 115%. And then 55.6% headshot damage. I don't know where that extra 5.6 is coming from, but I got it on something, so I guess that works. Let's see here. I'm just looking for any kind of honorable mentions. Like I said, using Intimidate. There goes the brand sets, if you want to look at that. And then about 1.2 million armor. And then 8k armor regeneration, which is totally unintended, but I guess it's good. And then, I'm not going to go through all this, but you can look at that if you want. Nothing extremely important. What is important is to use Firewall and to get the shield, using the Striker shield, which I'm not sure exactly how much, but it gives you an extra damage boost. So that's why we're always using that. And then your attachments on that's going to be the 8% active regeneration, 8% shield health, and then a 4% damage bonus as that last attachment. So these two come with these with the Firewall. So basically that's the only thing that you would have to pick up extra. But you can pretty much put anything there. I think since we're at tier 4, we get a damage bonus per enemy of 11%. So that plays into that. But you could slot in anything there if you don't have it. Let's see, and then we're using the striker drone as noted before. We got 6.9% deflect duration. We're not using that. We have plus 9.6% health, and then we have plus 4.9% damage. So those two are important. Then as far as our shade watch, I guess I'm at 818 now, and still filling the last quarter. So the only thing that's really important is, since we're losing with this build, we're losing that critical hit damage and critical hit chance. You need to pick up and get your critical hit chance on the watch up to 10%, and then the critical hit damage up to 20% on the watch. Those are the two things that are really important. If you're at 750, you should have your weapon damage maxed out, and then finally that headshot damage would come in last. But that's the only things that's really important. At our shade level, we get plus 24k health. But, I really don't find health that important because they just knock it off anyway. So, not a big deal there. So, I guess that pretty much sums it up, guys. Like I said, this is not my favorite build so far, but it does take off about, 500. And off camera, I got about 690k a while ago when I was picking up name tags and finishing out that little piece of the mission before I came back to discuss it. But so it is decent. It is usable. This is the only way that I've really found to use it. I tried it with a couple other assault rifles and stuff like that, and I just didn't like the damage output. I didn't like the survivability. So this is the best way that I've found to use it. And I really appreciate y'all watching, guys, and hit that like and subscribe button. Again, this is BPJ Game Station, where we game to please, and I will see y'all in the next episode.